I can't believe it's been 1 year since that night. I can't believe it's been 1 year since West Ham brought home its first major trophy in 43 years. It's been officially 1 year since West Ham United beat Fiorentina in the Conference League final in Prague to win the Conference League trophy. It was West Ham's first time winning a major trophy since 1980, and West Ham became the first English club to win this tournament. It is a relatively new competition, but it's one that I certainly can get behind because it gives clubs an opportunity to play in Europe, something which both clubs and the fan bases of these clubs crave. And long may it continue. That's my introduction. I want to talk about how I personally felt on the day. I was actually going back to my dad's house for the weekend to spend time there with my brother and my sister-in-law. So I went over to my brother's old apartment in Burnaby to watch the game before we drove up to my dad's. I remember wearing my West Ham shirt on the day, going to his house, and I was feeling some kind of mixed emotions. I was feeling nervousness, I was feeling excitement, but I was just hoping to seize a moment, shall we say, in the time that the game was going to go on for. The first half, from what I can recall, was edgy. I know that Fiorentina had a goal disallowed late on in that half, and one of their players, was it Briaghi, who had coins thrown at his head, which resulted in West Ham getting banned in Europe the next season after. Spoiler alert. But anyway, that's another thing to talk about another time. But that first half was a bit nerve-wracking, but I thought West Ham contained Fiorentina very well. Look, it's a good team. Vincenzo Italiano had a lot of good players in that team at the time. He had veteran presence. He had so much depth with his forwards and attacking midfielders. He really did. And like I say, it's a very respectable club in Italy. It's won a lot in the past. In the 2000s, it had a lot of very good players. Don't forget, Bautista used to play for Fiorentina. Adrian Mutu played for them. Sebastian Frey. West Ham signed Pedro Obiang from Fiorentina, by the way. So it's not a muggy club. I knew they were going to be tough, and they did make it very tough. West Ham's focus was to keep the ball, move it along quite efficiently, and then just limit Fiorentina to avoid them getting into the box. And we did that very well in the first half. In the second half, the turning point for me, and this is what my memories start to kick in, the turning point for me was the penalty incident. It was a definite handball from the throw-in. I think it was it Bowen who immediately signalled to the linesman that an arm was being used? It was going to be looked at, and lo and behold, the Fiorentina player had contacted the ball with his arm, and the penalty was given. Saïd Benrahma was given the responsibility of taking it. That was the one that I was nervous about. This goal was the one that made me feel edgy. I was like, okay, my brother was sitting next to me on the sofa. I was like, shh, 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 shh. Okay. Referee's whistle went. Benrahma stepped up, smashed it, sending the keeper the opposite way. 1-0 to West Ham. That was the goal that became of great importance, obviously. The equaliser was unfortunate to concede. It was through Bonaventura, a veteran player for Fiorentina, but he took a well-timed shot in the box and fired it past Areola for 1-1. That point onwards, West Ham made a few subs to try and keep the balance of things, from what I remember. I was just praying West Ham need to get a late winner in this because my heart and my blood pressure will not be able to handle extra time and the possibility of penalties. I don't want to go through that at all. I don't want to go through those emotions. As entertaining as it might be for the neutral, it wouldn't be for me. That is for sure. I remember just the 70th minute onwards was just going to be tense. It was really nerve-wracking. Like I say, just nerve-wracking. I was literally on the 88th minute turning to my brother and saying, oh, this is going to extra time, innit? I can't cope with this right now. And then came that moment that goes down in history forever. That moment that you never, ever forget. That goal that turns a man into a legend. and a hero for the club. Goal kick was taken. It was won in the middle on a 50-50 header. The ball ended up at the foot of Lucas Paquetá. He looked up right away. He saw Bowen in front of him as the sole West Ham player. And he threaded a ball under 3 Fiorentina players to put Bowen into a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Bowen controlled the shot, ran towards the box, got into the box as the keeper was advancing, took the shot, and it bounced off the keeper's fist. It's trickled into the net, and the West Ham fans went crazy. The commentary team shouted, "David Moyes is on the pitch," and showing Moyes with his arms in the air like that, running around. The players all darting over to jump on Bowen and celebrate him, and the fans throwing beers in the air and throwing limbs. The job wasn't done, though, at that point. And I knew in the back of my mind, something bad could happen still. But I remember, this was my reaction, which I can copy right now on camera. I was like this, and brother, when it went in, I was like this, literally to him. I was like, okay. Couldn't say that out loud, because, PG-13 on this channel. Most of the time. West Ham needed to kill it off in the stoppage time by just putting on a few subs. Then when the full-time whistle went, I just remember just like going down on my knees, and I was like... It was relief, if anything, though. I can't lie, it was... Oh, where's chair? There it is. It was like... Relief, if anything, though. I can't lie to you. It was just a huge, overwhelming, internal euphoric feeling. Declan Rice to lift that trophy in his last game as West Ham, and to lift it as a captain as well, cements him with the likes of Bobby Moore, doesn't it? Ty Benrahma, Lucas Paquetá, Jarrod Bowen and Declan Rice cemented themselves as legends in that game. David Moyes had a touching personal moment with his father at full time. His 87-year-old dad gave him a big hug on the pitch. Lucas Paquetá was with his wife and sons as well. Thomas Souček and Vladimir Sofal's families came. They were overjoyed. It meant a lot for Souček and Sofal because the final was in their city and in a stadium that they called home for many, many years. It was just a special, special moment for everyone. It was a fantastic day. Not just to be alive, but to be a West Ham fan. I said it in my Aftermath video, but memories like this do last a lifetime, and that's what you want. West Ham's had a rough few years. Since the year 2000, things have never been consistent. We've been relegated with the most points. We've suffered losses in the Championship playoff final. Been promoted to the Premier League. Been relegated in bottom place. Promoted back to the Premier League. Been in relegation battles. Players have come and gone in that time. Players we've loved have broken our hearts. There have been protests. There's been toxicity. There have been managers who haven't always stood up to the mark. There have been players who have failed us. But one thing's for sure, the fan base stayed unified throughout those times. And it fought and just kept on going. Because there are always brighter days to come at this club. And David Moyes proved doubters wrong. He showed why he is a good manager at the end of the day. And for what he did at West Ham, we are eternally grateful. Conference League final was an example of that. I hope we get many more European nights. Maybe under Julian Lopetegui. But I'll never forget that Conference League final. I know West Ham fans won't either. To those who went to the game or watched it on TV or listened to it on a radio in a car. You remember it. And it's a memory to tell others.